Hi folks, hope you're doing well. It's 11:30 and we're going around the park for our midnight walk. I thought I'd come out a little bit earlier tonight, try and get to bed a bit earlier as well. Yes, that's the idea. Oh, that nappy's still there from last night. Yeah, we saw that last night. Obviously the council haven't come around and cleaned the area at all today. Maybe they're saying, oh, it's Sunday, we don't work Sunday. Yeah, but they still want the council tax, haven't they? I got a letter come through the other day about council tax, where they want payment. Maybe you should do your jobs that you want paying for. That'd be quite useful. Oh well, indeed. Amber, come now. Amber, come on. Obviously Mollie's somewhere behind. Here she is. Here she is. Anyway, as it's Sunday, what Christian subjects can we have for today? Well, I was talking to Ali. I said to her, I'm not actually done church for about 7 years. New. And, I'm not concerned about that at all. As I said to her, you're better off in no church than you are being in a dead church. At least you know where you stand. Yeah. At least you know you're not going to get any Christian support. Rather than thinking you're going to get some, and then not getting some. Come on, Mollie. Come on. Mollie, Collie, come. Aye, that's the reality of the situation, isn't it? That's what life is for most people, for most Christians. That they're in a church, they think they're going to get support, and they don't get it. They don't, because they're in a dead church. And guarantee you one thing. You ask anyone in any church, anyone pretty much in any church, what their church is like. I mean, it's not absolutely everyone, but most people. If you start saying, oh, the problem is the church doesn't speak about a certain subject. Whatever you say church doesn't speak about, they'll be like, oh, our church does. Our church does speak about that. Oh, really? And I'll tell you. You go to their church, you'll quickly find that their church does not speak about those things. Come on, you boys, come on. Chewie. Yeah, a boy might have peed there at some point. Not a... Yeah, they will say, yeah, our church does. And yeah, within no time you find out their church doesn't. I said before, the reason why people think that is because they invest their time in the church. Yeah, they invest years of their life in that church, years of their time. They may bring their kids to it. They may bring their friends to it. So can they admit that they've been given their life, bringing their friends to a dead church? No, of course not. Because again, you have the second problem. You admit it's a dead church, you've got to do one of two things. You can even try to improve the situation. Improving the situation can mean one of two things. Either you sort the church out and make sure it's not dead but alive. Or, second option, you go and find a church that is alive. You leave this one. Chewie, come. Come on, stop trying to sniff out where boys or girls have peed. Nutter, come on. Normally Chewie's not the one behind, but tonight he is. Amber, leave. Walk away, Bubs. Chewie, come on, Nutter. What you doing? It's a cold one tonight, certainly. Yeah, it's a bit nippy. Oh, it is. Hands out. Oh dear. You notice it in no time at all if your hands are up. Oh yeah. Well, I've cancelled the gym anyway. But that's another point. I mentioned quite a few times about the gym workouts. The reason why I cancelled the gym is because I exercise the legs properly for the first time in about 7 years. As in heavy workout. I think with the leg raise, I was doing 40k on both legs. That's not heavy necessarily when you're used to it, but when you're not used to it, you notice it the next day. So that's what today's like. So yeah, so I cancelled tomorrow appointments, made it for Tuesday instead. An extra day will hopefully help. Come on, Riley, now. Riley, come. Come on, Amber, we'll get away from that glass. Not sure if you can see all the glass here. Yeah, you can see the glint on the floor. That's glass. All down there on the floor again. Drunks come and drop bottles and stuff like that. Not helpful in any way, shape or form. They're not all these things are down here either. They're weird. What are they, these things here? They're paper. There's some sort of paper thing. Weird. Perfect circle. They obviously cut that shape for a reason. No idea why though. Quite bizarre. Look at it. Look at it. Just paper. And these are also paper but got shiny. Quite shiny these are. Yeah. Wonder what they were cut for. Weird, isn't it? So it probably isn't glass actually, it's probably just those I can see. Glint of those, yeah. Quite a weird thing, but there you go, it's good. Yeah, anyway, what I was going to say was, yeah, talking about physical muscle workouts. Well, spiritual muscle workouts. And really what I was saying recently about the fact that we are in the perfect time now. Yeah. To use that time wisely, to develop our relationships with God, our relationship with the Holy Spirit, exercise those muscles so that when they're needed, they're there. Yeah, because part of the reason why I do the gym is because if I'm needed to shift something, I can shift it. Yeah, if a friend of mine needs a hand shifting something, I can shift it. There you go. I should be able to lift it much better now than I would have done before I started going back to the gym. So that's the reality. Because obviously upper body will be stronger. Legs will be a bit stronger. I'm going to start working on back as well again, so therefore back will be stronger. So all in all these things will be stronger now, which is good. And then, if I need strength is there because I'm exercising it. Because I'm working the muscles, and the muscles are used to being worked. Riley, this way, come on. Come on, Smiley Riley. This way. Come on, he's wanted to go through that gap again to try and find food. I called him, he came. That's good. Good boy, Riley. Well done, mate. Well done, Smiley Riley. He's a good boy. Indeed, yes. Oh well. Yeah, so go out there, exercise your faith. Yeah, exercise all of that. Exercise your relationship with God. Test everything. Always test. The worst type of people are the people that have blind faith. Blind faith is stupid. Because then when you need it, you hope it's there, but it's not, because you never exercised it. You didn't test it. You've got to test it. It's like your faith. If it starts off the size of a mustard seed, you've got to get it bigger. That size is not good enough. Even though the Lord said, if you have faith that size and you say to that mountain, move, it will move. Yeah, not quite though. No. No. Because along with that, you've got to have the understanding, you see. Because if you're telling the mountain to move to glorify God, the mountain will move. That is true. The mountain will move because it has to obey. But if you're just telling the mountain to move to prove that you have the faith to move that mountain will not move. If it's God's will for that mountain to move, it will move. So if you're not attuned to God's will, again, test it. Test that you are attuned. Because when you need it, are you going to have it? There are some things like, okay, the easy sin. Now, the easy sin is the one that we fall into too easily. Right? We all have those. We all have sins that we fall into too easily. What if we fell into the right behaviour instead of the wrong behaviour? Because what's the thing about sin? Sin is where you exercise that. Oh, because you do. Because you keep on doing it. That's why you fall into it so easily. Because you keep on doing it. It's like a habit. And so you keep doing it. You keep falling into it because it's something you've done on a regular basis. It can be, for example, smoking. Smoking is a habit for a number of reasons. One reason is if you've had a time of stress, any time of stress at all, as a smoker, what do? You go and have a cigarette, right? It's a known and trusted way of coping with stress, is that you go and have a cigarette. It's a learned behaviour. What if your learned behaviour was a righteous thing rather than a sinful thing? Because smoking is a sin. If you are a Christian, your body belongs to God. If you're putting that stuff into your body, that's a sin. It's not your body anymore, so you shouldn't be putting that into your body. Simple as that. I mean, I'm not saying it's as easy as that, because it isn't. I smoked, I've only just stopped about a year ago. It was about a year ago that I stopped. I've got no interest in smoking again. I stopped. Chewie, bop bop. Here you go, Chewie, get the bop bop. Need that bit of material on. So, as I say, I'm not going to say it's easy. I've been a Christian for 20 odd years. For most of that time I smoked. So, I'm not saying it's easy. It isn't. I'm just saying that, we have a time now where we get to spend more time with God, because all the things that normally get in the way are not getting in the way now. So, use that time to exercise the spiritual muscles. The spiritual muscles you should be exercising rather than the spiritual muscles, the sinful muscles, that we should not be exercising. Because when you sin, you're exercising muscles that you shouldn't be exercising. That's the reality. Hello. Hello, Mr. True. Hello, Mollie. How you doing? Hey, Mollie Collie. Where's Amber? There's Amber. Where's Riley? Come on, Riley. Hello, Chew. Leave it, Chew. Chewie, this one. Chewie. There you go, Chew. Only what you kick there, Chase. He's found another one now. He's had one now, he's found one he can chew. Chewie, leave now. Spit it out. Good money. Chewie, leave. Right, leave it, Chew. Leave it, Chew. Leave it, Chew. There you go. Riley, come. Come on, Smiley Riley. Come on, Amber. Good girl, Amber. Good girl, Amber. Hello, Chew. Choo choo. Hello, Riley. Wooshoo. Wooshoo. Love you, Bubs. Mighty Cody. Mighty Cody. How you doing? How you doing, Mighty Cody? Hi. Well, and, also, As well as doing that, like that, was just playful, being playful with the dogs. We need to be playful with each other. Oh, we do indeed. I've said this on videos before, where the Lord says, come to me as little children. It does not mean come to me as immature. Come to me without knowledge and understanding. It doesn't mean that. It means come to me with innocence, with playfulness. You know, the way children are innocent and playful. You know, children wake up every day, and in most cases, to them it's a bright new day. You know, full of possibilities. They don't necessarily think about it that way when they wake up in the morning, but they, generally speaking, unlike adults, they don't hold a grudge. They don't wake up thinking, oh my God, it's Monday. Oh, we've got 5 days to the weekend. Generally speaking, they don't think that. You know, even kids that really don't like school that much like the fact that they're going back to school so they can see their school friends. Yeah. There are some kids that really don't like school because they get bullied, and of course, for them it's difficult to see a positive. You know, so that's because of bullying. It's not because they're a child. It's because they've been bullied, because they've been beaten out of them. And so that's not what the Lord is talking about. He's talking about the children where it's not been beaten out of them before any of that's happened. And before any of that's happened, yeah, they look forward to going to school. It's not the learning, it's the school friends. It's the playtime that they enjoy. It may be a few jokes they have in the classroom. Wait, excuse me, mum. There you go. Good girl. Love it. So, yeah. So, as I say, go and play hide and seek. Go and play a silly game of cricket. Play a silly game of rounders. A silly game of football. Go and play something silly, a silly game of rugby. Just go and do something as adults that you would do as kids, that you loved doing as a child. Go and do it as an adult. Get other adults involved in doing it. Yeah? Go and play hide and seek in the woods as adults. Yeah? Do something silly. Because the thing of it is, as adults, we're encouraged to be serious all the time. And as Christians, we're encouraged to be serious and be righteous all the time. Go and let your hair down. Really important to do that. To just have fun. You know, God wants us to have fun. It's an important thing for us to do. To have a little bit of fun. To do something that we wouldn't normally do. To let our hair down. Riley, come. Come up. Riley. What are you sniffing under the car for earlier? What's under there? No idea. Diesel, possibly. I don't know. Weird with that car as well. When you fill it up with diesel, it says you've got, I think, 600 miles before you need to refuel. Once it gets to near halfway down, it then starts talking about the amount of days you've got until you need to refuel. Well then, once it gets a bit further down, it then talks about the miles per gallon you've got. Stick with one thing, for goodness sake. Yeah? Talk about the amount of days until you've got to refuel, that's fine. They're giving the miles per gallon, that's fine. You know, stop changing it, depending upon where the needle is. You know? It's just annoying. That's supposed to be what? Impressive? It isn't. Not in any way, shape or form. That's just, you know, stick with one thing and show me that. Because once I get used to it, that's it. That's what I want to see. Miles per gallon, that's good. Although the thing of it is, like that car, it's quite funny. It's got an eco thing on it that comes up and says whether you're driving economically. Now, if you're really at a speed where you can have the cruise control, well, then you're driving pretty economically. If it's on a motorway, I guess you're doing pretty well. Otherwise, if you haven't got your foot on the accelerator at all, you're driving very economically. If you've got your foot on the accelerator at all, then you're not driving economically in any way, shape or form. So it's like, well, obviously the best way to be economical, don't drive. That's what the car's telling you. Don't drive. If you want to drive economically, don't drive at all. Don't have your foot on the accelerator. Be towed everywhere, maybe. Go downhill everywhere. Figure that out. How do you get home? Go downhill one way, you've got to get home still, haven't you? Right, this way. Come on, Smiley. Nutters. But yeah, be playful. Go and do things that you wouldn't normally do as adults, that you used to do as kids. Play Twister as an adult. There you go. The only problem with Twister, it really is something that, generally speaking, you play it can be quite intimate, Twister, because of the positions you've got to get yourself into, and you've got someone else trying to get themselves into the same positions near you, and you can be quite close to other people's bits and pieces that you really shouldn't be that close to, or you don't really want to be that close to. So Twister may be not a good idea. But let's say there's various sports you can do, and you can have great fun with. I mean, you can have silly rules involved. Make it as silly as you possibly can, and go and do it, and enjoy it, and do it once in a while. Do it once a month if you can, and certainly in the summer, do more of them. Do it once a week. After church, or I'd say before church, go and do something like that. As a church, do it before church. Have a bit of fun. Certainly if the weather's good, do that, have a picnic, do your church outside. Yeah, why not? Change it up. Make it fun. Make it different. Make it different, you make it enjoyable. That's the reality of the situation, isn't it, really? You make it different, you make it enjoyable. Enjoyable is part of it. Got to be enjoyable. You're giving your life to God. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy your life, does it? It just means you don't do the things that are bad for you to enjoy your life. You don't take cocaine. You don't take heroin. You don't smoke dope. Even though, of course, for a lot of people with depression and other issues, that would be highly tempting to do that because it's supposed to help. By all accounts, it can help people. Marijuana is apparently quite useful. So, but, it's not something which we should be doing because, it is still a drug. It is still a drug, isn't it? So, we shouldn't be doing it. Sex can be great. It can be very pleasurable. But again, we shouldn't just be sleeping around with people, even though it can be good. But there's a sort of innocent fun that we can do and we should do. It will help with fellowship. You get to know people. You get to see sides of people that you really didn't think you'd ever get to see. Yeah? Well, and one of the churches I was in, one of the last churches I was in, I mentioned a fellowship idea to them. And they said no. The fellowship idea was one that came to me and seemed to make complete sense. And I wondered how on earth any church could not have figured it out themselves. But of course, most churches haven't. Not all, but most haven't. And that fellowship idea is that every single person in a church should have somebody assigned to pray for them. And everyone in the church should have somebody that they should be praying for. Now you can actually have them praying for the same. So, like for example, the dogs. Chewie prays for Riley. Riley prays for Chewie. Right? Therefore, they get to know each other. Just an example. Because if they're going to pray for each other, they need to know what the other person needs prayer for. So they contact each other. Get to know each other. What do you need prayer for this week? What's going on? Yeah, that seems a fellowship idea, because fellowship is about far more than sitting having a cup of tea or coffee after church. Oh, don't forget the biscuit. Or a slice of cake. Yeah. It's worth a lot more than that. So, if you're going to have proper fellowship, you need to get to know people. There needs to be accountability. Now, someone praying for you gives you a degree of accountability, because they pray for you, they come back to you, they say, okay, what happened? I prayed for you, what happened? Riley, come. Come on, Smiley. Round here. Amber, walk away. I wonder why our collar's not working. Amber, come here. What's happened to your collar? It's not working now. Is your collar dead? Need charging? Needs charging, okay. No worries. Her collar needs charging, I'll do that later. Loose! Loose about the shoes! Lucy! Come, now. Loose about the shoes! What you doing in the shoes? Lucy! Lucy! What you doing? What you doing, Lucy? Eh? What you doing, Baba? So yeah. What we need is accountability. What we need is to care about each other. And you have these two people praying for each other. Maybe do that for a year. After a year, change it over. Have someone else praying for you. Someone else you to pray for. Do it where you have, keep it. Whoever prays for you, you pray for them. For a year. Then change it after a year. Someone else. That way you get to know people in your church, and you get to know them better, because there's nothing to stop you praying for the other. After 3 years, there's nothing to stop you praying for 3 people. From phoning 3 people up and saying, I was supposed to be praying for you 2 years ago, but I'm still interested in knowing how you are and what's going on, and if I could pray for you still. No reason why not. You could do that. You could be praying for more people than what you should be. You could even start randomly calling people up in your church and saying, look, I know I'm not the same person praying for you, but I'd like to start praying for you all the same. You could do that, yes. Mollie, come. Come on, Mollie, Collie. Second time around, so we'll be back to the car soon and we'll go home. Yes. Yeah, as I say, do all of that stuff. Yeah, rotate it after a year. Of course, what did the church say? No. Baptist Church in Gillingham. No, it wasn't Gillingham, it's in Boscombe, in Bournemouth area. Yeah, Boscombe Baptist. They said no. There was a pillock, basically. Typical Baptist pillock. Yeah, wasn't interested. in doing anything that was in line with what God would want. Not in any way, shape or form. Yeah, it had to be the usual Baptist crap. Yeah. Nice little church though, to a certain degree. There was one elderly chap who was involved with the sound system in that church and doing all of that for the recordings of the sermons. And he was certainly someone who was spiritually led. Very wise man. But unfortunately, he wasn't taken that much notice of. So, yeah. As soon as I noticed that, I noticed, oh dear, what on earth am I doing here? But, God said, stay. So I stayed in that one until I moved. Yeah, and then it's like, okay. I tried to find a church in Inverness. Well, that wasn't going to happen. So, too religious. The churches are too religious. Found one church, but the minister there, he was a state, that bloke was. Oh, dear me. Full of fear. He wasn't a good leader in any way, shape or form, because he didn't want to offend people. He didn't want to do anything where he could be seen as a bad leader. So he was a bad leader because he was living in fear. He was leading through fear, through his own fear, rather than, So, no. I mean, that church, you come in, people talking, people arriving late while the service had already started. Now, I personally, if I was in charge of that church and people arrived late, the doors would have been shut. If people know we start at 10 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, those doors are shut. If you're not in, you're not getting in. Simple. That's it. You had your chance. You didn't get in, you didn't get in. Arrive early. You might have your reasons. 1 week you can't arrive on time. Okay, that's fine. You can actually have the music and the sermon put through a speaker to be played outside to the people who arrive late, so they can still listen to it. But you can't have people just wandering in. You can't do that. It's not right. If you're in the church, if you're late, then you have to look at yourself. Why are you late? If you're late on a regular basis, why are you late on a regular basis? You're supposed to be coming to meet the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, and you're late. You can't actually be bothered to arrive on time. That's incredibly disrespectful to the church you're a member of. You should really leave. That's just me. I mean, I do that. But also, in this church, people, because I had rows of chairs, people sitting and they had their feet up on the chair in front of them. Again, how disrespectful. It's like, really? Come on, you two. Come on, hurry up. And then you'd have, he'd be speaking, and then people would be making comments, even to him, while he's speaking. And again, it's like, who do you think you are? Yeah. So it's like, okay. Can't go there. I wouldn't go back there. Probably a different leader by now, but again, the people in the church have learnt to do things in a certain way. Chances are they put a leader in who's going to allow them to continue doing things that way. That's the thing. When you give the people of the church a vote, then they basically go for a leader that's pretty much the same as the one they just had. The one that allowed them to do things that way. They say, that'll do, again. Thank you. We got used to that person. That person allowed us to carry on living as we want to. So, yeah. Once I came to this town here, did I bother that much? Yeah. I looked around, but I'm not a great morning person. And certainly the church just down the road from me, that's a morning service. They don't have an evening service. even though they're in the hall. I don't think they have an evening service. I think they have a Wednesday evening where they do a bit of Bible study and stuff like that. But so I'm not just going to walk into that. I could do quite easily, yeah. I could do. But it reminds me of when I was in Boscombe. They would have churches where they would have people from the church come and pray for people. Usually on a Saturday. It could be a different church doing it. And there's one group doing it, so I went over and spoke to them. Yeah, how you doing? Says what church you belong to. And I was speaking to them a bit about church, and they said, well, we have this sort of house meeting where we take things way beyond, to the next level. Oh, really? I said, okay, oh, really? And where did you do this? Oh, it's just round the corner here. You should come. All right, okay, I will do. Oh, ridiculous. It was honestly like going back 10 years. Yeah, what they saw as advanced Christianity was stuff that we were doing 10 years earlier. Yeah, no advance on that in any way, shape or form. Like, come on, folks, what are you doing? Yeah, this is what you think advanced Christianity is? Oh, come on. But yeah, that's the thing, and it's like, oh, God. Yeah. I was looking to get some prayer at some point, and went with Alistair to test a few churches out. Amber, come. This way. Come on. Come on. Amber, come now. Come, Bubs. Come on. Come here, Amber. Let's do your collar. Come here. Yeah, I was looking to get some prayer for certain issues. And so Alistair took me around a few churches, and he said, oh, this is a person, a minister who could help. I went to the person's church just for a little while. I had I think the flu at one time, a bit bronchial. And the thing of it is, the church was incredibly hot, and this was in winter, so it's cold outside, very, very hot inside. Come here, Herbs, do your collar. It's a good girl. And so I was coughing, so I had to keep going out. Wait, leave it. Chewie here, now. Come here, monkey. Do your collar. Come here, Bubs. He's a good boy. Keep your head high. Keep your head high. I'm not going to reach down all that way, okay? He's a good boy. Right, Lucy, Riley, come. Come here. Do your collar. Good girl. Riley, come. Do your collar. Good boy. Right. Come here, Chewie. Yep. Get in the car. So, yeah, didn't find anyone to help with those issues. No, not in the end. No. So, just left to deal with it. Come on, Luce. Here. Here you go. So, it's just as usual. Try and deal with it on your own, because you try and look to the church to help and you get nothing. It's the reality of the situation, isn't it, really? You get diddly squat. Yeah. So there you go. That's what it is. Now that's going to change, hopefully. I hope so. But it hasn't changed yet. So, yeah. So start exercising those muscles. The right ones. The spiritual ones. Start going out having fun. Playing the games that you played as kids. Play them now as adults. And be just as silly. Be just as, immature. That's cool. Do that. Giggle, laugh, play, enjoy. Right, you take care. God bless, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.